everyone, welcome to your intermediate class. We don't need any equipment for this at all apart from just some support for our head, so head blocks. If you haven't got any head blocks at home or wherever you're doing this class, then even just a hoodie or a cushion or a rolled up towel will do. Okay, so let's get warmed up. Can you stand with your feet hip distance apart for me? Release the shoulders back and down. Let's just get a little bit of tension out of the shoulders. Breathe in as you lift and breathe out as you lower. Just a couple more. And slide them down. Imagine that you're drawing them into your back pockets. Side bend when you're ready. Sliding the fingertips down the side of the trouser leg. Grow tall as you come back up. Over to the left. Grow tall. Imagine that you're sandwiched between two panes of glass, so you can only move side to side. There's no twisting or rotating at all. On this next one, we're going to reach up all the way to the ceiling. Turn the palm away, have a little look. And then the other way. Side bend first, then reaching the arm up, turn the palm away. One more to each side. And last one. Really feel like you're breathing into the side of the ribs. And rest there. Hands onto the pelvis. Let's take some pelvic tilt. So soften the knees for me, tucking the tail under. Pass the tail through neutral and up towards the ceiling. So just releasing the lumbar spine. Making sure that we're using our segmental control there for me, folks. Good. Make this next one your last one. And find your neutral spine. Grow nice and tall for me now. Double arm float forwards, thumbs on top. Bring them back down, shoulder squeeze. Breathe out to lift. Breathe in to lower. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Good. Still staying at shoulder height if you wish. Or let's get a little bit more movement into the arms and bring them further up towards the ceiling. Be mindful of your rib cage. Make this next one your last one. Lovely. Now taking your tandem stance. I'm going to turn side on just so you can see a little bit better. So tandem, we have got our one foot slightly forward, but I want you to distribute your weight evenly as we start. I'm going to take my hands onto my pelvis and we're going to start off with your ankle sway. So I'm going to sway forwards, allow the back heel to lift, and then sway back, allow the front toes to lift. And I'm aiming not to get too much movement side to side here, so let's try and keep the pelvis nice and level. If I turn to face you now, trying to keep my hips nice and level. There will be a slight lateral movement, but try not to go too much. Okay, on this next one, we're going to add an arm float and allow the heels to lift, so calf raise. Coming all the way up, palms face forwards, angel arms to come down. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, transfer the weight forwards. Come up, reaching up, and control that lowering down. We've got two more on this side. Reaching up. Turn the palms forwards and open up. Make this next one your last one. And come to rest there. Well done. Have a little march out. Let's try that on the other side. So again, that tandem stance for me. One foot is forward, one foot is back. Good. Just starting off with your ankle sway first of all, hands on hips. Try and switch on those stabilizing muscles. Breathing out to go forwards. And breathe in to return. Let's try not to get too much sideways lateral movement. Lovely. On this next one, let's take that into your calf raise. Arm float forwards, thumbs on top. We're going to come all the way up, turn the palms forwards, and circle those arms down. So angel arms to control that lowering down. Grow nice and tall from the crown of the head. Think about your neutral spine. Draw the navel in. If you squeeze your inner thighs together and engage the pelvic floor, then that will help those core muscles to keep you nice and balanced. We've just got 2 more. Nice and slowly, try not to speed up. This is your last one. Good, and have a little march out. Well done. I'm going to go back into that tandem stance now. So changing over feet once more. This time we're going to go for a little bit of spinal rotation. So I'd like you to actually allow that back heel to turn out just slightly. You're going to lift that first arm up, open up. The movement is coming from the rib cage. It comes down by the side of the thighs, so take a breath into the start position. Exhale, rotate, inhale, come back. Stay with that if you have any neck or shoulder issues, or if we can, let's reach all the way up and over now. Getting that movement into the shoulder joint. Make this next one your last one. And close the feet together, change over. Okay, next time. Good, and again. So we're allowing our pelvis to move, folks. Just enjoying that rotation through the spine. Stay with that if you have any neck or shoulder issues. Just be mindful if you have vertigo. If you follow that thumb with your head, if you watch it as it goes, you might want to be a little bit cautious. It can make you a little bit dizzy. So if it does, then don't follow the hand. Make this next one your last one. Lovely, and rest there. Good. We're going to go into our monkey squats now, so take a nice wide stance around shoulder width apart. From here we're going to take our hip hinge. We send the bottom backwards. From there, soften the knees, squeeze the glutes as you power up. Make sure those knees are tracking over your second toes, shoulders stay nice and open. And the weight is backwards into the glutes, we're not putting any pressure on the joints of the knee. We're inhaling to squat, exhale to come up. Can we add an arm float this time? Inhale to squat, exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Hopefully you're starting to loosen up in the knees, the ankles and the hips. We've just got a couple more. And then I'm going to ask you to hold this next one here. Take the arms across the chest. From here, I'm checking that my alignment is knees over second toes. My weight's back into my heels and I've got a neutral spine. Can you transfer slightly over to the right? Come back. Slightly over to the left. Come back. 2 more. And here you should feel the outside of the buttock switching on. Can you raise a heel? Lower it back down. Over to the other side. Raise a heel. We've just got 2 more. Last one. Come back to center, push up and have a little march out. Circle the wrists. Well done. Okay, from here we're going to get a nice calf stretch. I would like us to use our blocks for this. Now, depending on how tight you are in the calves will be how many blocks you need. If I show you side on to begin with, you're going to take a block or a cushion and you're going to raise the ball of the foot onto the block. The heel is going to stay in contact with the floor, with the mat. Same with the other side, okay? If you can't feel a stretch at that point, then you're going to raise the blocks up slightly. So I'm going to go for 2 blocks and lift up the balls of the feet. The heels are staying down. Now, if I was getting too much of a stretch here, I'd be hinging forwards. It's important that you keep your neutral spine for me. Good. Now from here I'm going to get a nice stretch down the backs of the legs as well, so not just the calves. We're going to try our hamstring stretch as well. Take the hands behind your back, ready for your hamstring stretch. We're going to hip hinge, send the bottom back and come back up. It's important to note, folks, that this isn't suitable for you if you have any sciatica symptoms. So if you have any nerve pain at all, either in the buttock or going down the leg, then I would like you to avoid this, as that can aggravate the sciatic nerve. Hold it there this time for me. Enjoy that stretch down the backs of the hamstrings, the legs. Oh. And then come back up and have a little march out. Well done. Okay, we've just got a little bit of balance to do before we come down to the mat. So for this, we're going to try our flamingo swing. We're going to transfer the weight over to the right. Squeeze that right buttock, okay? Lengthen out of that hip. Draw the navel in, check that you're not leaning backwards. Think up and over. Imagine that piece of thread pulling you up towards the ceiling. From here, I'd like you to raise your left knee up so that it's in line with your hip if you can. We're then going to brush backwards and then brush it forwards once more. Brush back, brush forwards. Now I'm keeping hands on hips to make sure that my pelvis is level. Now that I'm happy that it is, we are going to add an opposite arm float. The opposite arm float is to your front leg. So my front leg, it's the opposite arm that goes forwards. Still squeezing nice and tight into that standing leg. On this next one, can we hold it there, double arm float? Can we take it out to the side? Can we bring it back? Can we bring it out? Can we bring it back? 2 more. External rotation. Bring it back. Last time. Bring it back. Lower down, have a little march out. Well done. Let's try that over to the other side. So transferring the weight over to the left now. When you're ready, tummy in, squeeze the glute, lengthen out of that hip, grow nice and tall. No leaning back. We're going to lift that knee up in front and start swinging back and swing forwards. Nice and controlled. It's not going to be any easier if you do it quicker. You're still going to have to stay there just as long. If you're happy your pelvis is nice and level, let's take that opposite arm float. So opposite arm to leg in front. Lovely. Keep going for me. Continue to breathe just naturally. As long as you're not holding your breath, I'm happy. Good. And now holding it in front. Lovely. Taking it out to the side and back. done. Have a little march out. Good. Okay. From here, folks, we're going to come down to the mat. So if you can, I'd like you to take one step back to kneel down, and then the other one to join. We're going to take our cat stretch now, just for some extra spinal mobility. So taking your hands directly underneath your shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. Resist into the floor with the palms of the hands to flatten across the top of the back. And just check that you're not locking into your elbows to keep them nice and soft. Start off just with a couple of pelvic tilts to find neutral. Then when you're ready, take your breath in to prepare. As you breathe out, tuck your tail under, one vertebra at a time, heeling up into your cat stretch. Allow the head to drop and look between the knees as you reach the top. Breathe into the back of the ribs. As you breathe out, peel back through that neutral spine. Inhale, send that tail away, just slightly, lengthen away from the crown of the head. Back to neutral, ready to begin again. Tucking the tail under. Take a breath in to hold. And breathe out as you peel back. Just enjoy that segmental control. Last one for me, folks. And then sitting back into your shell stretch or modified shell stretch. If you have hip replacements, then we are going to go no further back than 90 degrees. Or if not, aiming to get bottoms back towards your heels, foreheads down. Breathe into the back of the ribs. You can't breathe into the chest. So feel all that lovely open space at the back of the ribs. Slowly walk those hands back beside you. Uncurl, restacking the spine. Your head is the last thing to come up. Okay, our next exercise, I'm going to go through a couple of different levels of different options for you. Please stick with what's suitable for you and keep your technique, okay? So we're going to go back into that all fours position. Your first option is your double knee hover. To double knee hover, you're going to try tucking the toes under if you can. If not, you can do this on the bridges of the feet. It's up to you if you cramp. Take a breath in, transfer the weight forward slightly. Engage the abdominals as you breathe out to hover just slightly away from the mat, just enough for a piece of paper. Inhale, lower back down and reset. Inhale, transfer forwards. Exhale, engage the abdominals to hover. Inhale to lower back down. Now hopefully, folks, you can see that I am hovering so fractionally off the mat that it's really working my deep abdominals. If I was to just lift up, that's actually just using my leg muscles, whereas it's one of those typical Pilates less is more exercises. If you would like to progress that, we can go into your full leg pull. So inhale, transfer the weight forwards. Exhale, double knee hover. We're then going to take the legs back one at a time. Okay, squeeze the glutes, tummy buttons in, resisting, keeping the neck nice and long, and then carefully coming back in to lower. That is your second option. Your third option, folks, is to go back into that leg pull. Inhale, transfer the weight forwards, tuck the toes underneath, double knee hover, extend away if we can. We're going to take a tap out to the side and back, side and back. Try and keep the pelvis nice and level. We're going to go for two more. And then carefully lower back down into your shell stretch. This time we're going to reach out to the corners. Place one hand on top of the other and press down. Again, breathing into the back of the ribs. Coming back through the middle, over to the other side. And back to the middle. Walk those hands back beside you. Uncurl. Restacking the spine. Your head is the last thing to come up. Well done. Okay, we're going to come into our side lying position now. So breathe, head blocks underneath your ear with your arm outstretched, or just one in between your ear and your arm as you lay down. It's your choice. So carefully making my way down onto my side. Okay, and from here we're going to do our side leg raise. The first thing that I'm going to do is bend that underneath leg in and allow that to drop a little bit. Okay, I'm going to imagine that there's a piece of paper just underneath my ribs. Lengthen away from the hip, draw a line up the wall. From here I'm going to flex and point that foot. Flex and point. I can automatically feel that glute switching on. I'm being careful not to lower that bottom rib down towards the mat, so I'm keeping my abdominals engaged. Now I'm going to take little circles, so lengthening away from the hip and circling that leg. I don't want this to be working here, I want this to be working. And changing direction. I'm pointing and flexing. And I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to try and lengthen a little bit longer. And then come to rest. Okay, from here we're going to go for our double leg raise. So we're going to try and lengthen that underneath leg to join and then lower down. Point, lengthen, join the other leg, come down. Again, let's try and keep that bottom rib away from the mat and down. Let's try this last one. Can we hold it there? Can we flex and point? Flex and point, flex and point, flex and point. Just two more. Lengthen away, hold it for 3, 2, 1, and rest there. Well done. From here, I'm going to push it up and I'm going to repeat that on my other side. So coming down onto the opposite side now. Okay, again, making sure that I am directly on my side, ankles stacked, knees are stacked, hips are stacked, my bottom rib is lifted just slightly away from the mat. Okay, first off, we point, we lengthen away, and we point and flex. Point and flex that foot. I can feel that glute switching on, I can feel the outside of my thigh and my hip working. Also keeping my abdominals nice and strong, which is helping me to keep that bottom rib lifted. I'm going to circle. You can take that top hand and have it in front. I would rather you slightly lean forwards than slightly lean back to avoid putting too much pressure on the lower back. Let's change over. So reverse that circle. Keep lengthening away. Good. Point and flex once more. Hopefully it's talking to you now. And we can come to rest there. Onto that progression. So we're going to extend that top leg, bottom leg's going to come up and lower down. Extend that leg, underneath leg joints and down. Up. On this next one we're going to hold it there. Really try and get that lengthening away from the underneath leg. Point and flex. Point and flex the feet. Try not to lose that height. Still got that gap underneath your bottom rib. Abdominals engaged. Breathing. 3, 2, 1. And lower down and rest there. Bend those legs in. Have a little bit of a release. And then carefully push yourself up to sitting. Okay, from here folks, we're going to come down onto our back. Now for this next exercise, if you, when you are coming down onto your back, you need a head block or a cushion behind the head, then please make sure that you have your head supported. You don't want to have your head tilting backwards, looking behind you as you're laying down. Similarly, you don't want to be chin towards the chest. Okay, so make sure that your head is just enough supported. I'm going to carefully lower myself down onto my side and then onto my back. Okay, from here I'm going to take a hip flexor stretch. So hooking my knees into my chest, having a little rock from side to side. Then I'm going to keep my right knee hooked in, extend my left leg away, flex that left foot, circle the ankle of the right. I'm really pressing down with my left hip. Change direction of that circle. And change over legs. Change direction. Good. And then just a couple of pelvic tilts and find your neutral spine. Okay. First abdominal exercise that we're going to do is going to be a single knee lift. Now, if you have any pelvic floor or prolapse issues, I'd like you to stay with one foot on the floor. If you struggle to maintain imprint in your lumbar spine, then I'd like you to stay with this level as well. We're all going to start off by taking a single knee lift and lower back down. Breathe out to hover, breathe in to lower. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Now, as you take that knee up, I'd like you to resist against your thigh. So you're pressing against your thigh as it comes in. You'll feel a little bit more of a connection in the lower part of the tummy. Stay with that if you need to. If you're happy working in tabletop, let's tuck the tail under to imprint the spine and come up into tabletop. Same thing. So this time single leg stretch. And you're resisting against the bent knee, the bent leg. Breathe out to extend, breathe in to return. Breathe out. Take those legs a little bit lower if you can. And the more you press against your thigh, the harder that will feel. We're going to go for 4 more. Hug the knees in and have a little rest. Okay, we're now going to add a little bit of flexion. So from here, we're going to tuck the chin under. We're going to draw the bottom rib down towards the hip. Shoulders down, lift the head and shoulders up. And lower down. Skull rock. Bottom rib down towards the hip, reach forwards with the fingertips and lower down. Remember, flexion isn't suitable if you have osteoporosis. You may suffer if you've got any neck issues, and particularly if you have any disc bulge in your spine, then it can aggravate them, so please do be careful. Some people just don't like it. So from here, let's take that tabletop position again. Okay. Again, we're going to resist against the thigh, but we are going to lift the head and shoulders up. So take your breath in to prepare. As you breathe out, extend away. Head and shoulders lift. Return. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. We've got 4 more. Go on, give us another 4. And hug those knees in and have a little rock. Let's go back to that hip flexor stretch and circle the ankle, flex the foot that's straight, change direction and change over. And bringing those feet hip distance apart once more. Cross your right heel over your left knee. If you can, I'd like you to hug that left thigh towards you, holding at the back of the thigh. That left heel is in line with that knee. If you're struggling to hold the back of that thigh, if that's uncomfortable, or you're having to then lift up and compromise the neck or the shoulders, I'd like you to keep that left foot down and hip roll. Just hip roll. If you are happy lifting up, hold it there for me. Draw the tailbone down towards the mat and shift slightly over to your left. Find that spot. Come back to the middle, uncross, and change over. Left heel once again, either hip roll for me, or hug that knee towards you. Again, don't have that foot just hovering down, we want to keep it in line. Draw the tailbone down towards the mat and shift slightly over to your right. Come back to the middle, place that foot down and rest there. I'm going to finish with just a couple of hip rolls, folks. So find your neutral spine, arms down in a low V with your palms facing up, and keeping the shoulder blades down starting off with a small range of movement, see how that feels for you tonight. Just taking time, nice and controlled, and then gradually make that a little bit bigger if that feels nice for you. You can add an opposite head turn. Again, just keep those shoulder blades down. Lengthen through the back of the neck if you are turning that head.